Hello, student. So in this lecture, we will discuss that how we can calculate inheritance tax liability against the death estate. So first of all, in order to calculate IHT, we need to understand the pro forma of death estate. First, we will identify all the assets belongs to that individual. Every assets we have to include in the death estate computation. There is no exemption. But remember one point that in order to identify the value of asset, we need to use the open market value of the assets. There is an exception that in case of a life assurance policy of the person, in that case, we have to use the proceed received from the insurance company. Will not use the open market value. Other than that, we'll use the open market value. Now, from these assets, if there is any obligation, which must be a genuine obligation, that needs to be deducted from the value of assets. But remember, this must be a genuine obligation. Oral promises are not admissible. So suppose if that person has to pay a tax liability, a tax payable onto that person, or any kind of credit card payment, suppose that we need to deduct from the assets. So this is the value of the state. This is called the value of the state. Sometimes we need to deduct one more thing before this, and that is the funeral charges. These funeral charges are allowable expense provided that these must be reasonable in nature. So this will be value of state. Now, on his will, if that person has decided to transfer something to spouse, then inter-spouse transfer, it is an exempt transfer. So we need to deduct the exempt one from this inter-spouse transfer. After this, there will be a gross chargeable state, GCE. Now, we need to find out the taxable amount or taxable estate, but from this GCE, we have to deduct first RNRB, that is the residence nil rate band. We have to check that whether RNRB would be available or not. And then we have to deduct the NRB if it is available. So for both RNRB and NRB, we have to compute. And then after this, we'll get a figure that is called taxable estate. And on this taxable estate, we have to apply the IHT rate, and the IHT at the time of death is 40%. Now, how about RNRB and RNRB? Now, RNRB would be available, or you can say that in order to claim RNRB, there must be a residential property, a residential house. And the residential house must be given to direct descendant. And who will be direct descendant? Direct descendant involves children and grandchildren. So if house was given to children or grandchildren, then RNRB would be applicable. And RNRB value for tax year 23-24 is 1,75,000. But we need to compare this RNRB value with the value of the house. So the rule is lower of value of house net of mortgage, that we need to deduct the mortgage from the open market value of house, and then we need to compare this value of house with 1,75,000. So suppose if the value of house is 300,000 and the value is 1,75,000 fixed, then we'll get the RNRB. So RNRB is maximum 1,75,000. Sometimes it is 1,75,000, sometimes it is less than that. After that, we need to identify how much NRB is available. So for NRB, the NRB for the tax year 23-24 is 3,25,000. But in order to use this particular NRB in the death state computation, we have to first use the rule which is called look back 7 years rule. Look back 7 years rule. So we have to look back from the date of death. And what we have to look for, in the previous 7 years, we have to identify the gross chargeable amount related to any CLT, chargeable lifetime transfer, or any potentially exempt transfer within the last 7 years. And then we need to accumulate the gross chargeable amount. Let's assume that against this 3,25,000 NRB, in the previous 7 years, we have gross chargeable amount of 1,25,000. It means that now the available NRB is 200,000, and we need to deduct this NRB from the main pro forma. Another thing that need to be considered is whenever there is a value given in the death state, that is the house, it should be taken as net of mortgage. Typically, there are two types of mortgage, or rather we can say that three types of mortgage might be given. One is loan mortgage, other is interest only mortgage, and third one is endowment mortgage. So except endowment mortgage, will not consider this, will not deduct this from the value of house. If any loan mortgage has been given or any interest only mortgage has been given, what we need to do, we need to find out the value of house net of this mortgage, and then we have to compare this with the available RNRB value. So in this case, we can identify how much IHT is payable to tax authority. Now, in order to identify all these stuffs, normally we have to appoint a representative or an executed person which will execute this representative, who will deal with all the issues. HM will deal with HMRC. So that means this particular person will be responsible for payment of IHT on death state. But the IHT is ultimate responsibility for the residual legacy. So who will suffer this IHT on death state? This will be the residual person. So death state might be given to the interspouse, or some part given to specific legacy, specific person, or some part might be given to or the remaining might be given to the residual person. For example, suppose a person has nominated something, that is house to his wife, car to his daughter, and else remaining to his son. So this is exempt transfer. This is specific legacy, and this is the residual legacy. So that means the responsibility of payment of IHT falls onto the residual legatee. He or she would be responsible for payment. So whatever his share in this death state, we have to deduct IHT and the remaining would be transferred to the residual legacy.